Hello, and thank you for listening to Cave Chatter. I'm here with Cameron and Brooks. How y'all doing today?
Doing great, Justin. It's football week, and that's what it's all about. That's why we're finally, all we've been doing so far is leading up to this point. We have actual football starting this week, just in a couple days. What, 3 days?
4 days.
4 days.
Today's
4
Sunday.
days.
Yeah, today's Sunday. So
I
4 days.
cannot wait.
Ooh, and it's my Dallas Cowboys playing on the first game of the year. Oh my gosh, I couldn't be more excited.
Zeke is gonna eat, and that came from a Packers fan.
Mm-hmm.
Feed me is what his tattoo says.
I'm so excited.
I am so excited to have NFL football back. We got college football back this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Have it on the TV now.
Yeah.
And
Gave us a little taste when I always like how college football comes back like 1 week before NFL does.
we have.
So you kinda get a little bit of
like
taste.
5 or 6
Do
games.
you think there would be fantasy college football now that they get endorsements?
I think there already is.
Yeah, there's
college fantasy
already a
football.
form of it, but it's just so hard because
There's just too many teams.
There's fantasy micro racing, so if you want to pick me on your team,
What is micro racing?
micro sprints.
Is that what you do?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that was
You
the
put
name
me
of
on
it.
your fantasy team.
I'm good.
I kind of want to win.
Respectfully.
Respectfully.
If you do good, I'll
Hey,
pick
I'm
you
top
up.
10 in the
I'll
nation.
pick you up. Well then, you know what? You got a spot on my team.
How many wins you got?
0 national wins.
That's all right. Once that number gets
There's a
to
dude
1,
called Frank Flood.
you're good.
Yeah, I don't know. So, if you listen to this, Frank, shout out to you for
Yeah, sure. What's up, Frank?
future micro Hall of Famer.
Frank the Tank.
So what we got on the agenda today is we're going to go through some league injuries with Brooks. We got some, I think we had a couple of big ones this week. Cameron's going to lead some updates. I'll have my cave nugget, and then we'll go into start 'em or sit 'em because I know a lot of y'all had y'all's drafts. Y'all's drafts are coming up. There's some players that you're not sure about picking up or starting, so we're going to hint on that, kind of help you win. And don't forget, if you do have a draft coming up late in the week, $50, we'll draft your whole team for you.
There's still some time.
Yeah.
There's still 3 days to
3
do
days.
some drafts. We already got a couple coming up this
Yeah,
week, so
and you won't regret it. We promise you we'll at least get you into the playoffs.
is that a guarantee?
Guaranteed.
I like it.
Unless you draft Cowboys.
Don't you have Zeke on your team?
I do.
And-
I need Zeke to eat Thursday.
Okay, and so
Yeah.
there we go.
Alright, so I think one big injury, at least for us Dallas Cowboy fans this week, is going to be Zach Martin.
Well, it's a big injury for me too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you have Zeke. So he is out with COVID this week against the Bucks.
So, yeah, the first casualty of the season in terms of being on the COVID list for game week. That is really, really going to hurt. I mean, obviously he's the Cowboys' best lineman. And then going up against the Tampa Bay front, who coming off a Super Bowl, and literally their defensive line was one of the main reasons they won the Super Bowl.
Yep.
I mean, they've got some big boys on that D-line, and, you know, Zach Martin was kind of going to be like the guy who gave you confidence that you could go in there and run the football or protect Dak, and so he can get the ball out to the receivers. So, yeah, that's definitely a concern. I even texted in our group earlier today. I said, well, the Cowboys just lost week 1. So
Yeah.
I'm not confident on the Cowboys' ability to win this week. But in terms of the fantasy play, you know, I still like the Cowboys pass catchers for the most part. It definitely Zeke's the person who's going to take the biggest hit from this news. Running the football.
Yeah. I agree. Is there any other injuries?
That was the biggest one this week for sure. Not a lot of injuries this week leading up to the season.
Yeah.
Not a lot of starters playing in
I
this
guess the
week's
big
game.
other one that we
Alright.
haven't had our podcast in a while would be JK, but that's old news, but new news on the podcast.
We kind of brought it up on our video.
On our video.
Yeah, that we did on Tuesday. Yeah, so
Yeah,
that was something that came up.
Video.
Yeah.
So that's the only one you got.
It's the only one I got this week.
Awesome. All right, what do you got, Cameron, for updates?
Yeah, so for league updates, obviously there weren't any preseason games this week. The NFL changed it from 4 preseason games down to 3. That's a big thing that the players wanted. So,
Cowboys still played 4.
Cowboys did play 4 because they played the Hall of Fame game. So no, updates from what was seen in the games, but kind of just going to update you on guys who maybe are a concern coming into Week 1. So start off with Carson Wentz. This guy, everything has happened to him here in the preseason. First, he had the foot injury. He had surgery. They were extremely nervous that he would play in Week 1 based off that. They thought he might miss a few games. And then, not only that, but he also got put on the COVID list as well. So both of those made it to where it was like, hey, we don't know if he's going to play in Week 1. We don't know, how long he's going to be out. Everything's pointing to him actually he's healthy now, which is really good. That foot injury is not going to limit him or hold him out of any games to start the season. But he's also off of the COVID list. He was activated on Thursday. So Carson Wentz ready to go for Week 1. I think that helps out everybody on the Colts offense. Jonathan Taylor. You look at the receivers, Zach Pascal,
T.Y.
Michael Pittman.
T.Y.
Yeah, so.
Oh, wait.
I think T.Y. Hilton's hurt.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think he is, actually.
Yeah, so Zach Pascal. I like Michael Pittman a lot, and him being there obviously helps. So, yeah, there's one update. Carson Wentz, good to go Week 1. Another guy, Ryan Tannehill, who was on the COVID list last week, so that COVID list
he's free.
It's getting up a lot of people. He is off the list, so now he is good to go. No injuries, nothing of that, none of any sort there. Ryan Tannehill playing Week 1. Last one I have for you is Saquon Barkley. Obviously, Saquon Barkley had a big injury last year. Missed the majority of the season. The Giants are being very cautious with him. They still obviously consider him, they're focused more on his future rather than, Week 1, whatever, rather than just playing one game. But they're reporting that there's a strong chance that Saquon's going to play in Week 1
I saw that.
against Denver. But it probably will be more of like a game, not a game time decision, but a game day decision, or a day or two leading up to the game.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have Saquon Barkley on your fantasy league, on your team, definitely you need to monitor that every day leading up to Sunday to see kind of what updates are. But like I said, they're definitely wanting to be cautious with him. So if there's any doubt, I don't know that he's going to play. But let's hope he plays.
We will see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I drafted Saquon in 2 of my leagues last year. I had the 2nd overall pick in 2 leagues, and I drafted him, and he was hurt the first game, and I was pissed. I did not finish good in those leagues.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I bet. No other updates?
That's all I've got for you. Like I said,
Yeah.
not really much going on last week, just because no preseason games, and then people are taking it easy in their last few days of training camp. This is actual game week now, so if anything happens this week, obviously we'll update you guys, send you out some updates on Instagram or Twitter to let you know any other important league updates that happen.
Yeah. The only other update I have is that I had the best draft of our league.
That's
Y'all
false.
never admit it, but I did.
Well, because we already went over this on Tuesday. We went through the entire league. And I think nobody agreed that you had the best draft.
We'll see. Week 17.
Although I did get some feedback that we were being homers to our own picks. That
You
we were.
did?
Yeah, I got some
No
feedback
word.
from. No, I didn't think so. We at the start of it, we were kind of going through every single pick, obviously for the first few rounds. Then we realized we were getting up there in time, so we kind of just picked a few selections here and there towards the end of the draft, but. So I guess, Brooks, you share that feeling that we were a little bit too homerish.
Homer Simpson's pretty cool.
I expect that from y'all, too.
Well, we have the best.
What other
draft.
teams matter, besides your own?
We're going to win.
Yep.
No, not we.
You're never going to win a championship in this league.
We'll see.
You haven't even made a championship game yet.
Oh, I will this year.
No,
I should have.
I
I should have last year. All my players got hurt.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Next is my cave nugget.
I'm
about to be, what is this, 4 now? Yeah, 4
I believe so, yeah.
So I kind of got two little side nuggets. It doesn't really help with fantasy, but that's what I found today. So, which team in 2020 do you think punted the most? And then punted the least?
The least, Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
Okay. I like the Chiefs, but I'm gonna say it's probably the Cowboys.
Per game.
Yeah, per game.
I was gonna say the Cowboys.
It's probably the Cowboys. I would say the Cowboys or the Jets.
Okay.
Cowboys or Jets for
So
the
what's your
lead,
final answer
for the
on that?
most. I'll go with the Jets
All right.
for the most, and then for the least, I like the Chiefs too. I like where Brooks is headed
What
on
about
that.
most, Brooks?
I like his thinking on that one.
Most, I'm gonna go Chiefs, and for the least, I'm gonna go.
Most Chiefs?
No, least Chiefs.
The least
Yeah,
Chiefs.
so we're both Chiefs.
The
on least.
most, I want to stay with the Cowboys, but I'm gonna go Giants.
Giants.
Ooh.
So Jets, Giants, Chiefs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we're both
All
Chiefs.
right. So Cameron, congrats for the most punts per game at 5.1.
First one of the year.
You have the Jets.
There we go. The Jets.
Jets.
For the least, y'all are both wrong. So I'll take half the
Ooh,
points.
Buffalo.
It is Buffalo.
Ah, I'll take a half a point.
I almost said them, but
It is Buffalo. So Buffalo actually only punted 2.7 times per game.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
yeah. What was?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I
You
wonder.
want to know what the Chiefs was?
Yeah.
The Chiefs were not even 31st. They were 28th with 2.9.
So it's still top
Obviously,
five.
Yeah, top 5.
It's number 5.
Top 5,
well,
top 5.
Okay, so I got both right.
Maybe.
What's the point system? I've given myself half points a lot,
Yeah,
so I
you're
probably got like
one,
3.5.
We have one solid point.
Probably got 3 whole points at this point.
One
No.
point.
Yeah.
You blurting out answers at the end does not count as points.
I still got it right though.
I knew it was the Bills, but I didn't blurt it out.
So you just switched-
After you
I
said
knew
the
it was
Chiefs.
one of those. I knew
Yeah.
it was one of those two, but I just said
That's a
Chiefs.
good pick with the Jets, though, because I would pick Jags.
I almost picked Jags, but then I remembered I was like, nah.
Or the Giants.
Gardner Minshew wouldn't allow it.
Yeah.
Gardner Minshew doesn't like
Good
to punt.
pick, Cameron. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
You just
Yeah,
add yourself
sure.
some credit, finally.
Well, I know football. You just pick. I know football. I know football trivia. You just pick these weird, obscure
I have
stats
to.
and this obscure trivia that, like, you would have to have seen it to know it. You know.
Yeah.
But I know things. That's what matters.
That is what matters. You're right. So, that's this week's Cave Nugget. Not that it's ever
First
come up
time
in
you've
fantasy.
ever gone down. So
I know. I feel defeated. I don't even want to do the rest of the show. But I think Cameron might have looked at my pregame notes or something.
no, I don't cheat.
But I guarantee you that stat's gonna change this year if my boy Zach Wilson.
Yeah, I think so.
So, all right, we're gonna lead into start 'em or sit 'em for each matchup. Not just the week. Each matchup this week. This is big time because I know all of y'all out there have some questions for us. You're confused. You don't know who to start. You're freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
You're texting all your friends. Don't worry. The Cave Chatter crew is here. And we're going to help find that piece. Put them in your lineup. Put them on your bench. And go get that dub.
Yeah, this is the part that stresses me. This is the hardest part about being a fantasy football owner, manager, is those start-em, sit-ems. Not the guys who you have locked in, like your
Yes.
McCaffreys or your DeAndre Hopkins, Devontae Adams, guys like that. You start them, you don't worry about it. But those fringe ones, your flex spot or your wide receiver 2, your RB2.
The what ifs.
Gosh, those are just, man,
I
I stress about those so much. That's the hardest part about this.
I agree. So, 2 years ago in the league I won last year, and my father-in-law's league, which Cameron plays in, if I would not start, I lost by 1 point. Cole Beasley got 0 points.
Last year?
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
I lost in the semis. Cameron wasn't in the league that year. But if I didn't start Cole Beasley, I would have went to championship and then won.
Well,
Crazy.
you don't know that you would have won.
No, I would have, because the next week I scored like 230 points.
Well,
Either way, starter
but yeah,
receivers is huge.
they will,
Like,
especially obviously come playoff
it's a
time,
game changer.
they make or break you.
Yes. So we'll
So I have a fun fact about the fine, how much stuff that you get fined, the amount for in the NFL. If you have any part of your leg showing, you get fined $25,000.
Yeah. MLB is the same way. Do you know that? If your shirt comes untucked or your jersey, it's like $10,000.
Yeah, I knew that.
That's how basketball is.
That's because that's why in college ball they taught us to tuck our jersey in our sliders, so it wouldn't come out.
Yeah.
You can get fined in college?
No, but they just
But in preparation.
yeah.
Yeah. NFL, they are very... I think NFL's the most strict out of all three of them. They want you to look a certain way.
That's because Goodell sucks.
Well, it's because he's a dictator.
He just lets inmates play in his league.
Yeah, if you're a commissioner of your fantasy football league, do not use Roger Goodell as your inspiration. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Because Cameron does.
I do not!
Cameron's probably the worst commissioner of all time.
No!
We literally, side note, before we get started on starters, and I'm sorry, listeners, but
Yeah, this is a tangent we're going down here.
our league is so bad that we don't even have a commissioner this year. They have no guts. They can't even fire Cameron.
It's because I'm so likable.
No.
I'm so likable they didn't want to fire me.
I had the most likes, and y'all still couldn't.
Because nobody wants you as commissioner.
Drew did.
We
And
each had,
JR.
we each had
Person.
2 votes.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone had 2 votes. So, yeah.
So now we have no commissioner.
The only reason that...
Absolute nonsense.
To be fair, if I would have endorsed myself as commissioner, I would have won. But I was actively telling people not to vote for me.
Our
Because I
league
don't want
is
to be
full.
commissioner
Our
of this
league is
league
full
anymore.
of collusion.
That's your favorite word, and I bet you don't even know what collusion
I
means.
do.
You like
It
learn.
means
You watched the league
BS.
once and said, "Oh, I'm gonna just start calling everything collusion."
Our league's full of it.
Collusion.
Our league's full of it.
Mm.
Between Colin and Brooks and you, it's unreal.
I don't do anything.
There was
I just sneak in and make big
Justin.
trades at
That
the end.
trade was much more fair than what
Oh, no.
the shit
No
you
chance.
were offering
No
me.
chance. Alright, anyways, we're going to get started. Game 1, Thursday night. Let's go. Prime time. Dak is back.
Woo, Dallas Cowboys.
Cowboys versus Bucks.
The boys.
Who you going to start? Who
How
you going
about
to
them
sit?
Cowboys?
Go for it, Cameron.
So my first start for this matchup is going to be Chris Godwin. I love Chris Godwin in this matchup because I think, excuse me, Trayvon Diggs is probably going to mirror Mike Evans for the whole game. Because Trayvon Diggs against Chris Godwin, I don't think is a good matchup. So they like Trayvon Diggs. He's the tallest corner that they have. Mike Evans obviously is 6'3", 6'4". So I see Trayvon Diggs being the guy who follows Mike Evans. So obviously the rest of the Cowboys defense is not that great. So Chris Godwin, I would expect to be open often and to have a lot of receptions, a lot of yards. Probably even, I might guarantee a touchdown from Chris Godwin this week.
Well, I agree.
So that's my stardom for this week. For my situm, and I think we all might, well, I won't say that, but my situm is going to be Michael Gallup because Tampa has obviously a really good defense. If there's somebody who you are questionable on, I still like Amari Cooper. I still like CeeDee Lamb. Like I said earlier, I still like Zeke Elliott. So if there's someone on the Cowboys who you're concerned about, for me, it'd be Michael Gallup.
Yeah. What about you, Brooks?
My stardom this week is going to be CeeDee Lamb. I'm high on him this week. He's the number 2 receiver, so he doesn't get the main coverage, but he is still a fantastic wide receiver. I'm high on him this week. And my sit-em this week is going to be Antonio Brown.
What?
Ooh, okay.
I just feel like he's going to punch someone and get ejected.
or his girlfriend before the game.
Yeah.
Or decide to cuss out the cops in the security room. Yeah.
Oh, man, I've never heard that
Was that in practice when he did that?
I thought that was fake, wasn't it?
No.
Or no, there was another one where it was
He's
a
an
fake
idiot.
fight. But yeah, he got in a fight.
He is an
Was that
idiot.
in a scrimmage?
That was
with another
in one of
team?
those, yeah, those.
Literally the
Yeah.
only reason that dude is still playing pro football is because Tom Brady.
No, he's still a good receiver.
But no coach.
If he didn't have the off the field issues, he would still be.
Yeah, that's
great.
what I mean.
Right.
Tom Brady told basically, what's his name?
Bruce Arians.
Bruce Arians
Yeah.
to, hey, I run this team. You just have coach on the contract.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I agree. So I have Cowboys versus Bucks. Start them. Any Bucks wide out because Cowboys defense sucks. Besides their D line, I'll give them that. D line and linebackers are good. D backs boil.
Yeah.
So I have start any Bucks, and then I have sit Gallup. So me and Cameron agree on that. I just don't know how many reps Gallup's gonna get with CD and Cooper.
Plus their tight ends.
Yeah, and I know there are people out there who have Gallup and they think he's gonna be a big timer. I don't disagree with that, but week 1 you gotta sit him.
Normally, I am high on all three. Even though Michael Gallup is clearly wide receiver 3 on the Cowboys, I mean, I still like him as a flex play most weeks. But when they're going up against a really good defense, it's just going to be hard to spread the ball around.
Zeke's going to get a lot of jump-off passes. Gets a good D.
Probably, especially, again, going back to Zach Martin being out, so probably a lot of quick stuff. So, again, I that's why I also like CeeDee Lamb. If CeeDee Lamb is going to be working out of the slot, a lot of quick routes over the middle, something like that. Get the ball out of Dak's hands fast so he's not facing that pressure.
Yeah.
I
agree. So next, we'll move on. I think we all kind of agree on that. Brooks kind of threw out the Antonio Brown part, but I think any wideout in the Bucks is able to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
Seahawks versus Colts. I'll start this one.
Okay.
Obviously, I have start DK. That's kind of a no-brainer. And then I have sit any Colt wideout. So just because it's the first week with Wentz as a quarterback, you don't know. I just feel like you're not sure what's going to happen. So just week 1, I like to play it safe. I like to play my for sure's. So I have any Colts wideout.
Okay, that's going to be an interesting note. You up, Brooks?
So my stardom is going to be Jonathan Taylor. And my sit-em is going to be Carson Wentz.
That kind of goes hand in hand with my wideouts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also, I mean, they kind of mirror each other because...
Yeah. Obviously.
Yeah, so...
I'm very high on Jonathan Taylor, by the way.
Yeah.
I believe in him.
I love Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of those guys where if you're building a running back, you want his size, his speed... to me, when you watch him,
besides his team,
to me, when I watch him play, he just looks like a running back.
Y'all trashed me for how high I had him on my top 10.
Jonathan Taylor?
Yeah.
I never trashed him.
Justin did.
There we go. That's more like.
I just know I didn't.
I like Jonathan Taylor. I wouldn't trash him.
I just think with Marlon Mack back, it might be an issue.
Marlon Mack is their third string
for now, but that guy was a stud before he got hurt.
That's the key word. Was.
We'll see.
So for me, my stardom, which goes directly against Justin, my stardom is going to be Michael Pittman, Colts wide receiver, because he has, with T.Y. Hilton being out, Michael Pittman, he's going into his second year. I actually like him for a breakout candidate for this year. Really? And so week 1, like I said, he's going to be their number 1 wide receiver. Carson Wentz has to have somebody to throw the ball to. I really like Michael Pittman. I'm high on him. For my sit-em this week, if I've got to pick somebody, it's going to be Chris Carson. Because
I agree with that.
Because the Colts in the middle of their defense, they've got outstanding linebackers. They've got, I don't know why his name's escaping me right now, but right in the middle of their middle linebacker, who's a stud. And I just forgot his name right whenever I started talking.
On who?
The Colts.
He just signed a huge contract.
Yeah, their middle linebacker. I can't remember. Anyway, I really like the Colts defense. I really like them up front.
It's Leonard.
Yeah, Darius Leonard.
Darius.
Yeah. So he's an all-pro linebacker every year. So if the Seahawks, when I still like them to score points, obviously Russell Wilson, I like them to do it through the air.
Yeah, they're going to throw the ball.
So stardom, Michael Pittman, sit-em, Chris Carson.
All right. Brooks, we got to get through this, so you go.
He already did this.
Right. That's right. Sorry.
I was like, what?
We've been going Cameron, you, the
me, so
I forgot. Next is Cardinals versus Titans. Cameron, take it away.
Cardinals versus Titans. Okay, so, I mean, no surprise here. My stardom's going to be the Haas, Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
This is going to be a... Sorry.
I just dropped my cap in my water.
It just took my attention away. Derrick Henry might have 200 yards this week. The Colts defense...
Can you say that again, please, and for our league?
Well, I've got him in a couple of other leagues, so I'm a Derrick Henry fan too.
I'm going to give him eventually.
Yeah, for my sit-em this week, it's going to be Chase Edmonds. I actually have Chase Edmonds on my team in our league, but he's going to be on my bench. I do like him going forward this year, but for this week, early in the year, they've got James Conner there as well.
They're going to test his waters.
They're probably going to try to see what they have there, so I don't like Chase Edmonds this week specifically. But once their roles clear up and I see Chase Edmonds taking that lead, eventually,
I agree with that.
Yeah, Chase Evans is going to get.
They're going to test the waters with Connor.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that kind of leads on to one of my picks later on. So.
Okay.
Justin, go ahead.
All right. Cardinals. I had start D-Hop, obviously, no brainer, and then I have sit AJ Green because the guy sucks. I don't care what you think about him. The guy's washed up. He's done. So, yeah, that's all I got.
Okay.
My start this week is going to be A.J. Brown.
Okay.
I like him a lot. And my
Love him.
sit is going to be Christian Kirk.
I bet you I like that sit because now that AJ's there, it's going to take Kirk's obvious playmaking away.
Yeah.
But I
And
disagree
Rondale
with
Moore.
you. I think Julio's going to have a huge day.
I think
I
both
just
of them.
feel it. But I do think Julio, week 1, he's healthy, new quarterback. Derrick Henry's there to protect him. Obviously not protect him, but it's gonna take. I think you know what I mean.
Yes,
I think Julio's
it's gonna. They've. Excuse me.
Julio's
the
never
Titans,
had that. Besides, obviously,
the Super Bowl year.
Super Bowl year.
The Titans, man. I mean, for most of the year, I'm gonna be really high on a lot of their offense. Might have the best offense in the NFL
Tannehill
this
is
year.
low key dominant.
Tannehill's a top 10 quarterback in the
He's a
NFL.
quarterback. He does what he needs to do.
I was with you for the first half of your sentence until you said he's
What?
a system quarterback.
Dude, he fits perfect in the offense.
He fits their system, but he is not a system quarterback, if that
What do you
makes
mean?
sense. Yes, he fits the Titans system and
Yes.
what they do, but that's okay. We'll talk about this
No,
off air
no,
later, so that
no.
we can get in more deeper.
Okay.
But I like
We might have a YouTube show over that. Just
Yeah.
Tannehill.
Tannehill is a
I think Tannehill will do whatever the coach tells him to do.
he's a top 10 quarterback in the NFL, man. Since he's been with the
He's
Titans,
a sleeper.
He's a top 10 quarterback. I like him. So
We're gonna have a disagreement, or not a disagreement. We obviously agree that Tannehill's good,
yes,
but we're gonna have a conversation about this. All right, so you got AJ Brown. You said sit who?
Christian Kirk.
Christian Kirk. I agree. Christian Kirk's shadow has been taken over by AJ Green.
and Rondale Moore.
Yeah.
Rondale Moore, the rookie that they got,
Yes.
already is
Yeah.
better than Christian Kirk. So
Fitzgerald retiring might bring Christian Kirk's thing up, but Fitzgerald's still playing, so there we go.
yeah.
Next, Eagles versus Falcons. Obviously, I start Ridley. Kind of a no-brainer. I know Cameron's going to disagree with this. I have sit Mike Davis. We don't know what he can do for the Falcons yet. They just brought in what's his name from the
Gallman?
Gallman.
Yeah, Wayne Gallman, yeah.
I just don't think we can trust Mike Davis just yet.
Well, I wish you hadn't have said that.
You put him as your stardom.
Because my stardom for this week is Mike Davis.
So I guess our listeners are going to choose.
Mike Davis, I'll say this. If you want to be on my side, I had Mike Davis as a sleeper running back this year. So I've been high on him for a while. I believe in him and what he could do this year. So Mike Davis I have as a stardom this week.
Really?
Up front, yeah. So I like Mike Davis. And unfortunately, I had to trade him in our fantasy league. I really wish I didn't have to do that. But so my sit-em for this week is going to be Jalen Reagor. Sorry, JR, but Jalen Reagor. He's hopefully, I do like the guy. Hopefully he has a bounce back season.
Yes.
But with Devontae Smith coming in there,
Gonna take his.
I really think that Jalen Hurts is going to look for Devontae Smith a lot in this game to start that like rapport that they have. I think that they're going to want to get out to a hot start between that connection. So I like Devontae Smith a lot more, and I don't like Jalen Reagor so much in this game.
I agree. I have Reagor on my bench. So.
My stardom this week is going to be Kyle Pitts. I'm really high on Kyle Pitts. I think he's going to step in and do it.
Well, yeah, he guy's a stud.
Yeah, he's a stud. He'll just step in and take over what Julio Jones has been doing for all those years?
I don't know about that. Ridley's there. I think Pitts is gonna feed off Ridley.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying now.
Yeah, I like Pitts a lot.
And my sit-em this week is going to be
Mike Davis.
not Mike Davis.
Stop it.
My sit-em this week is going to be, gosh, I've lost his name now.
Well, who's he play for? I'll tell you. Eagles.
Yeah,
Miles Sanders.
Miles Sanders.
There you go. I mean, what more can
Sorry,
you say about the
JR.
guy that we haven't said already?
Yeah.
Don't think he's gonna be.
I think
great.
that's pretty obvious. Next, Jaguars versus Texans. I have start Marvin Jones
Okay.
Jr.
Yeah, not
Just
Marvin
'cause
Jones Sr.
Just because it's Texans defense, and then sit David Johnson. And the only reason I think that, obviously I know David Johnson's a great running back. The only reason I think that is because we don't know who RB1 is yet. We have our Mark Ingram, David Johnson, and then Patrick Lindsey.
Philip Lindsay.
Philip Lindsay, my bad, not Patrick. Wide receiver from Denver. You know what I'm talking about. So Philip Lindsay, Marvin Jones.
Running back from Denver.
No, there's a receiver, Patrick.
No,
Oh, yeah.
he's not saying
Yeah.
Lindsay
Yeah.
came from
Oh,
Denver. He's
yeah.
he's
So
talking
Philip
about somebody
Lindsay,
else.
David Johnson, Mark Ingram. I just don't know if we know who the solid running RB1 is.
Mhm.
Obviously, I know David Johnson's going to be a solid RB, but I don't. Week 1, I would just sit him, just play it safe.
Okay.
So.
So for my stardom sit-em in this matchup, I'm gonna go similarly to you. I have my sit-em as just any of the Texans running backs. You picked a specific one. Again, I did this earlier where I said.
Well, I just feel like that's going to be the main guy that anyone would start.
Well, they don't. First off, they don't know what they're doing
don't know.
in Houston.
They don't know.
Who
Their
carries
coach
four?
sucks.
Who carries 4 running backs on the team?
They do it every year.
I mean, what are you doing?
They got Tyler
Not only that,
Taylor.
but yeah. So if you have, unfortunately, if you maybe you're in a deeper
Maybe
league.
you're from Houston, like
Yeah,
my cousins.
maybe you're from Houston, or maybe you're in a deeper league, a 14-team or 16-team league, and you had to take one of the Houston guys. But I mean, I wouldn't trust any of them. I wouldn't start any of the Houston running backs. Sit all of them. For my stardom for the week is going to be James Robinson. The key to Trevor Lawrence's success this year is going to be a good running game.
Yes.
They're going to have to establish the running game early.
Can you say that again? Because I have him in our league, and y'all trash on my team.
They're also going up against a bad Houston defense. So
Very
like I said,
bad.
the key, if you want Trevor Lawrence to succeed in the NFL, especially this year, and especially early on, you're going to want that running game to be good so that can take pressure off him. And you're going to want him to not have to do everything out there. So James Robinson, I think they're going to try to utilize him a lot this week. He's a easy, hands down, definite stardom for me this week.
That's for sure.
My stardom this week is going to be Laviska Shenault.
There it is.
I'm high on him.
Okay.
And my sit-em this week is the entire Houston Texans offense.
There we go.
I
There we
agree.
go.
I just think the obvious is David Johnson because I know people draft him in deeper leagues. Like Cameron said, you might have to start him. I'd find another way out.
Yeah,
So.
I'm not trusting any of them at any point this season. So, luckily, I mean, we're all in agreement there. So there's not much. If you're listening, there's no need to worry about that one at all.
Ooh, that guy just got smoked.
Oh wow, this game is close.
Yeah, we're watching the Florida State versus Notre Dame. The coach just got knocked out.
Notre Dame.
Oh, look,
Notre Dame.
Christopher Bell's up there on the screen.
Yeah, well, I don't think the people listening follow NASCAR.
Peek the helmet behind Cameron. It's Christopher Bell.
All right, so.
So next we got Packers versus Saints.
Mm-hmm.
My stardom is going to be Marquise Callaway, wide receiver 1 for the Saints. The only thing that would stop me from starting him is he's going to be matched up against Alexander. Me being a Packers fan, I know how solid Alexander is, but I would still start him with obviously the gunslinger Winston behind the center. And then my sit is going to be A.J. Dillon. I know all the hype around him right now. He had a solid preseason, He ran hard. He was running through some holes. But they're going to feed the man, Aaron Jones. Obviously, I disagree. I think A.J. Dillon's better running back. But fantasy-wise, sit A.J. until he shows that he's getting the same touches as Javon Williams. So, Brooks.
So my stardom in this game is going to be. Why do I keep losing people? Players?
Amari Rodgers.
Who?
Devontae Adams, Amari Rodgers.
No. It's
Who's he play for?
Aaron Jones. I don't know why I said Aaron.
That's a no-brainer.
Well, yeah, but I'm very high on him in this game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like.
Sorry about that.
I do not like the Saints' rush defense.
Yeah. Who's your sit-em?
My sit-em this week is going to be Alvin Kamara.
What?
Ooh.
What? I'm a Packers fan, and I'm telling you right now, I start him every game.
Oh, I have a feeling this week he's gonna have a rough week this week.
Why? Because of the twins?
What?
The Smiths?
Yeah, they're not really twins, but
The Smith twins?
that's what us Packers.
Well, I just think he's still battling his injury as well.
Yeah.
Achilles, ankle, the ankle.
Ankle. It's not an Achilles injury.
Yeah, it's an ankle injury.
I think he's
still
gonna
battling
dominate. But
Dominates. Okay.
Reach your own, Cameron.
Well, again, we're kind of in direct opposition. My sit-em this week is going to be Marquez Callaway. Because, for the exact thing you just mentioned, he's going to have Jair Alexander, one of the best corners in the NFL, shadowing him the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
Jameis is going to have to find somebody else this week to give the ball to.
Little baby.
Yeah. Traquan? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
I love Traquan.
What's it, baby Traquan?
Yeah, so Marquez Callaway for me is a sit-em. My stardom is actually going to be Marquez Valdez-Scantling. So I got the two Marquezes in this game.
No, don't bring that up, man.
Why?
That guy is a Packers. No. He will literally have a great game and then drop every pass ever.
Well, this is going to be one of those great games. The Saints have
It's a nightmare.
The Saints have really good corners. They have Marshawn Lattimore over there, who I think is going to follow Devontae Adams. So Devontae Adams still going to get his. He's still going to have a good game. I don't see him having a monster game. There's going to be Aaron Rodgers going to have to dish the ball around. I like Valdez-Scantling a lot to get a lot of the passes, to take the top off the defense like he always does.
I love Scantling, but
he's always good for those two balls a game. I know.
Oh, man.
He has some drops. I know. But he also has those games where he gets over 100 yards, has a touchdown.
Blows my mind.
Yeah. So I like Marquez.
All right.
I like Marquez and I don't like Marquez.
Go Pack, go.
So.
Dolphins versus Patriots. I have sit Tua. Obviously, because y'all know my feelings about Tua. He sucks.
Obviously.
Worst quarterback ever. If you watch his brother this weekend, he's already better than him.
Mm-hmm.
But and I have start, as much as this hurts, because I hate Alabama.
Ooh, Mac Jones.
You gotta start him. He's gonna go off. So sit Tua blows. Mac Jones, start him. Two Alabama quarterbacks. Breaks my heart, but I gotta do it.
Against a good Dolphins defense, you're
Mac
starting
Jones,
Mac
dude.
Jones.
It's a future Tom Brady.
Okay, for me, I'll go with my sit-em first. My sit-em is going to be Myles Gaskin. Again, this goes back to other episodes we've had. I don't hate Gaskin. I just am not very high on him.
But PPR, would you sit him with Tua as his quarterback?
I would, if I have other options.
What other options do you think you would have?
For me, Myles Gaskin.
You took Gaskin high.
I don't think you did.
Most people did.
No, Gaskin was going mid to late rounds.
I took him in like the 9th round, and I'm having to.
So say you took Gaskin. Who do you think you would have on your bench?
Gaskin to me is a low-end RB2 this week, potentially a good flex play.
Who could you start over him? Like a Miles Sanders?
I would like Miles Sanders
just said
over.
Sit him.
You said sit him.
Yeah.
I didn't say.
I didn't say sit him.
Brooks said sit him.
Would you start Miles Sanders over Gaskin? Is what I'm saying.
This week, yes. Again, it goes back to we're going to have a running back by committee, not necessarily full running back by committee in Miami, but there's going to be other touches to go around. They've got Malcolm Brown. They also have this other guy, Salvin Ahmed. second-year guy.
Yeah.
They've got 3 running backs over there.
I just picked
they're
up
going to like to play him.
So.
Yeah, so sit-em is going to be Myles Gaskin. My stardom is going to be Jacoby Myers.
I have a question. So, say it's round 10.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I take Myles Gaskin in round 10.
Okay.
Yes. At some point...
I know our listeners are going to think that.
Yes. So, any of these guys, if we say, if they're going normally, if their ADP is still as high...
Gaskin's ADP is high.
Yes. So, at some point, there is good value for him. If you're getting him in the 9th or 10th round, 8th round, at that point, it's not a bad pick.
Okay.
It's only a bad pick if you're overdrafting, if you're taking him too high, if you're reaching for him. Definitely do not reach for him.
I just had to get that out there because I know people are like, hey, yeah, if Gaskin's available around 10, you guys take him.
Yes, and I think a good example of that is we've all been down on Joe Mixon on this podcast before. Yeah. It came into, round 5? And Joe Mixon was still on the board.
Yeah, and I took him.
And Brooks, because at that point you have to take them, even if you don't think he's going to be great. At that point, it's just way too much value to not take.
Last year he was a second-round pick.
He still needs
Mixon. Exactly.
He could have a great bounce back year.
Stop it with that. So my sit-em is Myles Gaskin. My stardom for this game is going to be Jacoby Myers.
Ooh, I like that.
This ties into a little what I said earlier with Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith, who I think they're going to try to get a connection going early. I like Mac Jones and Jacoby Myers to establish their connection early to try to, again, get off on the right foot and let people know that, hey, this is a good quarterback wide receiver connection we got here. So Jacoby Myers stardom, Myles Gaskin.
Especially PPR. I think Jacoby's having a big year.
Plus, they don't have the best receivers behind them. Now, they do have a couple tight ends. So, again, I like Jacoby Myers.
I like Jacoby Myers a lot, too. All right, Brooks.
My stardom is going to be Jacoby Myers as well.
Good pick.
And my sit-em is going to be Damian Harris against that good Miami defense.
I kind of agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even think about that.
I'm a genius.
I do like that pick a lot.
Yeah. All right.
The game is now tied.
All right.
11. Oh, wow.
38, 11 seconds left.
All right, yo. My back's turned to it. So
next thing, Bears versus Rams. I have start Mooney. I think Mooney's going to be a game changer this season. And then I have sit Cooper Kupp.
No.
Just because I think Cooks is going to be a game changer this season. So.
Who? Woods,
not
Cooks.
Close.
Thanks for keeping me on my toes.
Brandon Cooks.
I mean Woods.
He hadn't been on the Rams in 4 or 5 years.
Woods. Just because I think Woods is going to be a game changer. I have sit Cooper Kupp, start Mooney. Mooney's going to have a big year with Allen Robinson being definitely covered by the DB1.
Okay.
So.
Well, I don't like that you did that because...
you have Mooney too? You don't
I have Mooney and A-Rod.
No, because I love Cooper Kupp.
You haven't been up yet.
I've had Cooper Kupp.
You asked him if he had him. I was just saying that I had him.
Yeah, so... No, I don't like that you sat Cooper Kupp. He's great.
Well, you like Kupp. You like him.
I love Cooper Kupp. He's been great for me. I had him previously.
But I think Stafford might figure out who the actually wide receiver one is.
Okay.
Robert Woods, who is also on my fantasy team.
Yeah. So, for me, my sit-em is going to be Darrell Henderson this week.
Oh, I agree with that. PFF actually
mine
said that
as
too.
well.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah.
Maybe I should go take a job
Pro
over there.
Football Focus.
Well, yeah, we're big Pro Football Focus guys over here.
We're going to be bigger than him one day.
Ooh, I like that. Darrell Henderson, again, they brought in Sony Michel literally to play.
Yeah, so we have no idea.
So, again, I don't know what the... carries is going to look like. I don't know what the workload
this guy just fumbled 11 seconds left.
No, they said incomplete pass.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, not only that, but obviously Chicago has a stout defense. I really don't like anybody in this matchup.
What? Because
there are two really good defenses going. But if I'm going to start somebody, it's going to be, just because you said Cooper Kupp, it's going to be Cooper Kupp. I had somebody else in mind. Because I can't, I don't want to go at something you say, and I respect your opinion on it.
You don't?
I do.
If any one of our fans read our group chat, none of y'all respect my opinion.
I'm going to trash you privately, but I will respect you publicly.
I literally sent you a trade the other day, and you said, I agree. And then the group disagreed, and you said, I take back my agreement.
I said I was kidding.
No,
I
you
was.
weren't kidding them.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So Cooper Kupp, start him.
You. Oh man, you make me so mad. You just love making people happy.
I do love making people
If any
happy.
of y'all know, Cameron hates any kind of confrontation.
So my starter this week is going to be Robert Woods as well.
Yes.
He's on my fantasy team. I think he's going to have a big week
Okay.
to beat Aaron.
Who?
Aaron.
Who?
Aaron.
Yeah.
It ain't Mike Jones. Quit saying who.
Well, I was just saying, the guy who finishes last place every season, you're worried about beating him?
He's actually got a good team, Justin.
Yeah.
It might be a little bit better than yours, but
No, he still forgets week 62 to start.
that's true. He says he doesn't get alerts to his phone. Aaron, yes you do. Everyone gets alerts.
And then my sit-em is going to be Darrell Henderson.
Oh, good choice.
Yeah.
All right, next is Vikings versus Bengals.
The Bengals.
We're gonna start.
So I'll start it off.
I'll let Trevor start it off.
A guy who, for this matchup alone, I do like. So I'm going to start Joe Mixon this week. I like Joe Mixon in this matchup.
Oh man!
Because I'll tell you
man.
why. I will tell you why. Don't even.
I
How
had to.
are we going to get back to that?
I had
Are
to
you
for
kidding me?
that. I had
Are
to.
you kidding me? Joe Mixon, I'll tell you why he's going to have a good week. Joe Burrow is coming off his ACL injury. He's had issues with, Jamar Chase is coming along very slowly. He obviously still has really good wide receivers, Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins. I like them a lot. But with their offensive line concerns, they're not going to want Joe Burrow to drop back and throw the ball 30, 40 times this game. They're going to want to lean on Joe Mixon in this game. Early on in this season,
Mixon needs to fix him.
Stop it. You need a new saying. Nobody likes it.
What do you mean?
So-
How do you know that?
Because I know.
I guarantee you by week 5, the fans are going to be tweeting.
Mixon needs
Hashtag
it. Only if he does
Mixon
bad.
needs a
Okay,
fix.
if he does bad, I will give everybody permission to tweet that. But like I said, I actually like Joe Mixon early on to start the year because Joe Burrow coming back from injury, they're going to want to bring him along slow. So I actually have Joe Mixon as a stardom play for this week.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then my sit-em for this week is going to be Jamar Chase.
Oh, I agree with that. 100%.
Yeah, Jamar Chase.
If anyone watched yesterday, LSU freaking got stomped on.
Oh, wait, let's not talk about that. Sorry, Brooks. We're not going to talk about LSU on here.
So obviously they're not good without Joe Burrow.
So,
Who'd y'all play?
Who?
Louisiana!
Hook 'em.
Better than UCLA?
Yeah.
Louisiana Lafayette.
They're just Louisiana now. They dropped the Lafayette.
Still trash.
They were ranked, though. They were ranked.
Yeah, they were.
But my
Higher than
sit-em...
us.
My sit-em... No, they were 23.
25th. We were 21st.
They're 23. Texas was 21.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of Texas, if you see on the video...
Hook 'em.
Got my Vince Young... Oh, I can't turn around. Got my Vince Young Titans jersey on here to celebrate Texas actually winning in week 1.
Woo! Hook 'em.
Hook 'em,
It's
baby.
a youth extra large for everyone.
Hey, I make it look good, though, don't I? Hey, come on now.
Matthew
Hey,
McConaughey.
checking myself out in the camera.
Matthew
Okay.
McConaughey.
So, like I said, sit-em Jamar Chase. I'm
All right.
mildly concerned about the drops. It's not going to be an issue going forward, but I don't like him in week 1.
Oh, I'm the same way. So.
Alright, for me,
Okay.
Go ahead, Brooks. Don't let him cut you off like
my
that.
stardom is going to be Justin Jefferson this week.
Oh, obviously.
Another LSU boy.
Yeah, the only good one.
Joe Burrow.
Just wait. And my sit-em this week is going to be...
Jamar Chase.
No.
Suck it.
I don't think he's going to have a good week, but he's not my sit-em.
Who's your son?
My sit-em this week is going to be Tyler Boyd.
Ooh.
That's a big
sneaky
one.
pick.
Yeah.
So my start is Thielen,
Mm-hmm.
just because I know with Jefferson people are worried about Thielen, so I like to go with the people's view. Thielen's still gonna get a lot of attempts. Gonna get a lot of targets. My sit, Jamar Chase. I agree.
Okay.
Week 1, you just gotta sit him. I have Jamar Chase in 7 out of 10 leagues.
I've got him in 1.
But you gotta sit him just to test the water.
Yeah.
Week 1, everybody's like, oh man, you gotta brag, you gotta win, so I can't start him.
If you have him on your team, you probably have a couple other wide
Yes.
receivers that it probably is he's actually one of those guys who you're actually having a real start and sit question about.
Yes,
you don't know what you should do.
I've been going back
So
and forth.
yeah, and I think we're all in agreement here. Sit him for week 1. It's too much of a risk play this week.
Yeah.
All right.
So next matchup is Jets versus Panthers.
Ooh.
I'll start this one.
Okay.
I have Zach Wilson.
Okay.
If anyone knows rookie debuts, you either have an explosion debut or it sucks. I'm going to go with explosion. I think Zach Wilson's going to have a career game. I just like the dude. The dude was wearing a do-rag already game 1. You know he does the swagger.
I like Zach.
He's going to dominate, and I think he's going to change the game. And then I have Marshall Jr. for the Carolina Panthers. Just because of DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, and CMC. I just think Marshall's going to
Oh, you mean Terrace Marshall?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's going to
Marshall Jr.?
His last name is Jr. Marshall Jr.
Just Marshall, right?
I thought it was Jr. Oh.
Either way.
Okay.
Terrence Marshall Jr.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
LSU boy. I like Terrace Marshall.
I think he's going to have a good career, but later on.
Yeah. I like the Carolina receivers a lot. DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson.
DJ Moore's my
Terrace
homeboy.
Marshall.
No.
I love DJ Moore.
I love DJ Moore. And he changed his number, dude. He looks freaking deadly.
He's number 10, right?
Number 2.
Ooh,
Looks deadly.
That's a good
Yeah.
number. Yeah.
His visor, dude. He looks scary.
Derek Jeter.
No, I'm not doing that. Get that crap. Brooks, what are you starting over here? We don't do that crap around
That's my
here.
boy.
I love Derek
We
Jeter.
don't do that crap around here. For me, I'll go first. My sit-em first is going to be any of the Jets running backs.
Oh, yeah.
So
100%.
basically, the only 2 guys you're probably worried about there are going to be Tevin Coleman and Michael Carter. Which Michael Carter is going to be more of a later season play anyway, the rookie out of North Carolina. But they have 4 running backs who are legitimately going to play.
It's scary.
So I don't feel comfortable about starting any of the running backs over there.
High on Carter.
Well, I think they are too, but they know that they eventually, and they know that they have other good running backs on the roster. And then so my stardom for this week is going to be Robbie Anderson. Love Robbie Anderson.
Who has him in our league?
You do.
So is that 2 stardoms?
Yeah, you tried to trade me Robbie Anderson for D-Hop.
Christian McCaffrey?
D-Hop.
For D-Hop.
Christian
That's
McCaffrey,
not
sorry.
true. Y'all don't lie to the people. There's so many more picks than that.
Yeah, so I like Robbie Anderson.
No, let Cameron go, dude. No, not even just Jamar.
You offer trash trades.
Oh my gosh.
Get over it.
Keep going.
No, that's pretty much it. I like Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore, but probably Anderson a little more than DJ. And I love DJ Moore. Again, like we said.
So my sit-em this week is going to be, like y'all, the New York Jets running backs.
Good.
My stardom this week, though, is going to be Corey Davis.
I agree.
Ooh.
Zach Wilson, that goes hand in hand with that.
So
Yeah.
I thought about picking Corey Davis, and I kind of wavered a little bit because I've been seeing him pop up on a lot of sit-ups this week. But you picked him, and I like him, so I agree with you.
If I would have picked him, Brooks, he would have said, it's awful.
I would have said, hey, man, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of sit-ups out there this week for Corey Davis. I don't know about that one.
Exactly. My next one hurts me because I have to start him. But so 49ers versus Lions in my league, my big money league, I have DeAndre Swift as my starter. I have nobody to back him up. It's a 14-team league. Awful choice, Joe. Terrible. If you listen to this, don't ever go back to 14-team league. I have to start Swift, but I have sit DeAndre Swift.
Okay.
And start Mostert.
Oh, okay.
I just think Mostert's going to get... Obviously, he's a returner. I think he's going to get the majority of the touches for week 1. But sit Swift. Sit him. He's questionable already. We already saw what Javon Williams can do. Just sit him week 1 and see what happens. But I can't, and it really sucks.
Okay.
I have nobody.
Well, you just took both of mine, like exact what I was going to take, so I'm just switching it on the fly here.
Oh, of course. He can't agree with me.
Well, I don't. I mean, if you want me to, I
Agree with me for
can.
once.
I just kind of want to give a couple other picks instead.
Agree with me
Okay,
for once.
I agree with you, but just a couple other ones to add on.
Can you let the crowd know that you agree with me?
I agree with you. Sit DeAndre Swift, start Mostert.
Okay.
But my other one then is going to be sit Trey Sermon this week.
Okay.
A lot of people are super.
That goes hand in hand.
A lot of people are super high on Sermon. I am too. later on down the road. As
Just
long
like
as
Trey Lance.
Mostert is healthy, we had the stat earlier a few weeks ago. He had the fastest sprint speed all season last year. The guy's got burners. If he's healthy, he puts up numbers in that 49ers offense.
Yes.
That zone running game that they do, I love it. And he does so good for him. So sit Sermon and then start. We'll go with Deebo Samuel.
Ooh.
Deebo Samuel.
that was mine.
Was it? Okay. Well, then we
Well,
can
no, I was-
But
start
who?
someone else.
So was your start before that? Was it Swift or not Swift? Mostert?
So yeah, it was
your
most.
sit Swift?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I agree. It's just a good pick there. What you got, Bruce?
I have to start Swift because it sucks.
My starter this week is going to be Brandon Ayuk.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very high on Ayuk.
Yeah, I like him.
And my sit this week is crap, I was just looking at it. My sit this week is actually going to be Lions wide receivers.
I agree with that. I just don't know how Jared Goff is going to do.
Ooh, I've got a good. I actually got a good start on that I just thought of. T.J. Hawkinson.
I
do like TJ on there, but
I agree with that.
I'm not big on their receivers though.
All the receivers left. I don't get
couldn't name
Cameron
one of
probably
their
knows more
receivers.
about this because Cameron's more of a contract dude. I'm just a fantasy guy. Why did Marvin Jones leave with Goff coming in?
I think Detroit's kind of doing a rebuild.
Yeah.
That's why they shipped out Stafford, got picks back.
Marvin's young.
No, he's 29 or
How old?
no, he's 31. Marvin Jones is 31.
Yeah,
How
31.
old is the other dude?
Kenny Galladay, I can tell you right
I think
now.
he's like 20.
Kenny Galladay is 27.
27.
And I love Kenny Galladay.
Yeah, I just don't realize how they
Yeah,
brought in a new quarterback and lost every receiver they had.
because new head coach. They're gonna try to.
And I know
rebuild
you
that
know
thing.
more about this stuff. I'm more about fantasy. When it comes to contracts, I'm not the best.
Yeah, Kenny Galladay. I know Giants paid him a lot of money.
How big was the Jared Goff contract?
Well, his contract is from the Rams.
Trade, yeah.
At the time, it was big, but I think now
Is he a
he's
free
only
agent
making
next year?
I think he's only making like $30 million. No, he's got to have at least a couple years left on his. So he signed his contract. He signed a 5-year deal, I believe, probably
3 years.
2 or 3 years ago. So
Yeah.
he's got I would say he's got 2 years left on his deal, and it's probably a 2-year trial period.
Poor guy.
No, don't poor guy him. He's trash.
Yeah,
He's not good.
Detroit.
If you're number 1 overall pick, you don't get to be poor
I
guy.
promise you, Stafford goes to at least
Exactly, poor guy Stafford.
No, Stafford's going to go championship. Not the Super Bowl, but championship.
Well, when you say championship, people think the Super Bowl. So NFC Championship for them. Okay, nice little guarantee there.
If Rodgers doesn't make it.
Yeah, right. All right. So
Next.
is that all? Okay. So what's
Yeah,
all
so that was
for
the end of the Lions game.
Got it.
Next is Chargers versus Washington. I have sit Keenan Allen.
Oh. Who has
I
Keenan
know.
Allen in our league?
Not me. Oh, yeah, so sit him, Cameron.
I'm not gonna do that, but thank you.
I know it's a bold prediction. But Washington's D, we all know, is very good.
Their front seven is good.
Exactly.
Their
so they're going to have pressure on the quarterback.
Their secondary is average,
And then
but their
I
front
have-
seven is the best in the NFL.
Yeah, and then I have the obvious start Gibson. So
My team, baby. Thank you.
start
I will
Antonio
be
Gibson.
starting him.
If you have him in your lineup, start him every week. That's all I got.
So I'll go next. So my sit-em for this week. Sorry, my sit-em this week is going to be Curtis Samuel.
Oh, jeez.
So I don't like Curtis Samuel this week
I agree with
because
that.
he's still recovering from a groin injury he had in preseason
And a new quarterback.
and a new quarterback. So he hasn't played at all in the preseason. I don't know how much of a rapport he's gained with Fitzpatrick.
Do you think he's getting a lot of RB touches?
Who? Curtis Samuel?
In Carolina, dude, they started.
Yeah,
Because
but
CMC went down, but there's no true back.
because CMC went down. Gibson is the workhorse.
Exactly. Do you think Curtis, with the same coach he had in Carolina, might use him as a wildcat?
Maybe. I mean, they'll probably have some wrinkles in there to where he does it, but in terms of a wide receiver play, I have him as a sit-em.
I would never start him.
sit-em
He's
this
on my
week.
bench.
Yeah. And then, so for a stardom, I'm going to go with Mike Williams,
Okay.
Chargers number 2 receiver.
I agree.
Because even though I have Keenan Allen on my team, and I'm starting him, and I love him. I do think that he's going to be like the focal point of their defensive coverage. So I like to see Mike Williams, maybe even Josh Palmer, their rookie, who's their third wide receiver.
I'm glad you brought that up.
So I like to see the other guys maybe take some of the load this week.
Movies.
What's that?
Despot. Oh, you said the other guys.
Oh, the other guys. I was like, what are you talking about?
Aim for the bushes.
You thinking what I'm thinking? Aim for the bushes.
You're right, bro.
There goes my
So my
hero.
stardom this week is going to be Austin Eckler.
Great
Oh wait,
pick.
no. I'm sorry.
That was a great pick, and you're gonna go back on that.
Or you mean sit him?
Sit him. Yes.
Oh, awful.
Against that front seven, though.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I agree.
They're gonna dump off the pass to the
I
line.
agree.
Wait, he's gonna get pressured, dude. There's gonna be off. No, I disagree.
And my stardom this week is going to be Antonio Gibson, actually.
Love that pick.
I agree with that. Obviously.
Love that pick.
But I disagree with sit him because pressure, quarterbacks dump off.
Well, but that okay.
PPR.
Yes,
PPR.
yes, but Austin Eckler already is not really a between the tackles runner.
Yes, so exactly. He's gonna get dumped off.
Right, but they're still going to have to run the football in the game to be successful.
They're not going to though.
They're going to have to.
They have to.
They're going to try to. And
third
I
down,
agree with Brooks. With that
dump
front
off.
seven,
Every
I
third
don't
down.
like, in terms of a true runner in this game, I don't like Eckler. He's
True
always
runner,
gonna
yes.
he's always gonna get his receiving.
Yes.
So that's the great thing about Austin Eckler is he's versatile in his value in
So I would
fantasy.
still start him. That's what I'm saying.
I agree with Brooks.
Okay.
So
if you're out there, sit Eckler. If you lose your season, or you lose,
only if you have a viable
if
backup.
you lose week one,
If you have a viable backup, pick them, and he's on, and you're wavering on it.
yes.
If he's your RB, if like he's your best running back, start him. Yes.
Eckler obviously can be an RB1.
Yeah, and
Then you
for
gotta start him.
for a lot of people, he's going to be your start him and don't worry about it. Forget about it.
That's why I bring that up.
But in some like lesser leagues or where you have better players, like less teams per league,
Yes.
and you have multiple options, I think he could be a
That's
sit-em
why I
type of
bring it
player.
up. If you're in a 10-team league, you're gonna have to start Eckler.
Yeah, but if you're in an 8-team league, you might have some options there.
Yeah. Next is Steelers versus Bills. I have sit Claypool
Okay.
and then start Emmanuel Samuel. Or Sanders, my bad.
Okay, I'll say who's
Samuel.
I was reading
Emmanuel
quickly.
Samuel.
So I have sit Claypool just because I think Juju and Deontay Johnson are going to take that role. Obviously, I know Claypool had a good preseason, but it is preseason. And then I think start Emmanuel Sanders just because Josh Allen loves to spread that ball around.
Okay, not Cole Beasley.
Cole Beasley, I love it, but this is Sanders' first year there.
Okay.
And I think Cole is a blanket receiver. So.
Okay.
If you know what I mean by that. Do I need to explain?
No,
Okay.
I mean the people might.
I just think Cole is a safety blanket.
Yes, there you go. So I'm gonna kind of go a twofer for my sit-em.
Okay.
My sit-em is gonna be pretty.
Emmanuel.
No, it's gonna be pretty like loaded.
Okay.
So my sit-em is going to be the Pittsburgh wide receivers.
Okay. So it kind of goes hand in hand.
Any of the three of them.
That's mine as well.
But also the Bills running backs.
Oh, obviously. That's.
So the Bills running backs, they've got a 2 running back
I'm
system
glad you brought
going.
that up. I would
And
say every one of them.
I don't like either of them. And then the Steelers wide receivers, it's already a tough matchup going against this really, really good Bills defense. And then Big Ben, who, bleh, we all hate Big Ben over here, or at least I do. So sit them if, I wouldn't feel comfortable with any of that's 5 guys, main guys. So the 3 Steelers receivers and the 2 Bills running backs, those are 5 guys I'm not starting. Who I am starting is why I brought it up just a second ago is going to be Cole Beasley.
Okay.
Because I think Pittsburgh is going to really try to not have Stephon Diggs kill
So
them.
you think Beasley's gonna be more effective than Sanders? That's an honest
do.
question.
And that's a really...
I love Cole Beasley. If you
And-
see any of my tweets, I tweet at him all the time.
well, I know why, but for this alone, sorry, I lost my train of thought. They are 2 very similar guys in that they're slot receivers throughout their whole career, right? They're guys you stick in the slot and then you get them open on third downs, especially. But I like Cole Beasley over Emmanuel Sanders. Cole Beasley, Emmanuel Sanders, he's a little bit older.
Yeah.
He's got some injury issues he's dealt with. And Cole Beasley, former Dallas Cowboy, but don't care about that because he trashed the Cowboys once he left. And he likes being in the Bills. So Cole Beasley started.
I would trash the Cowboys too if I had Josh Allen as a quarterback.
He said the Bills had better facilities than the Cowboys. You believe that? You've seen you watched Hard Knocks. You saw that tour of the Star. You don't believe that for 1 second.
I've been to Oxnard. It's not that impressive.
Yeah, Oxnard. That's just their training camp to get out of the 100-degree heat.
All I know is Cole Beasley is the man. If you listen to this ever, Cole Beasley, I'm your biggest fan. Send me a jersey. I agree with everything you believe in.
There we go. And I was going to say, and then let's not get too deeper into that, but there you go. Okay, so Brooks, who you got?
My sit-em is, I agree with Cameron 100%. Steelers wide receivers and Buffalo running backs.
Okay.
My starter this week is going to be Najee Harris.
Oh,
ooh, baby!
I 100% agree with that. I kind of felt like that was a no-brainer.
Love me some Najee Harris.
If you don't start Najee, you might have some issues, and you might want to pay us $20.
Exactly.
That's true. That's a very good point. If you heard Brooks say that and you thought, okay, I will start Najee Harris.
You might want to pay us.
Give us your money. We'll help you out. You need some.
We'll win you a championship.
But I do like that pick.
Yeah, good pick, Brooks.
All right. What's our next match?
Browns versus Chiefs.
Ooh.
This is where I was kind of going with you when I said hold on later on. I kind of have an insight on that.
Oh yeah, I don't remember I remember you saying that, but I don't remember what it was
back.
Okay.
You don't remember at all? Are you serious?
I remember you saying that. I don't remember the specific point when you said it.
All right. So my stardom is Kareem Hunt. Do you remember now?
Mm-mm.
Texans.
Okay.
You don't know who RB1 is.
Yes.
James Conner, Cardinals.
Yes. Oh, okay.
So
sure.
My stardom is Kareem Hunt.
Uh-huh.
So I think just like Edmonds and Connor, they're going to test the waters. Mm-hmm. Week 1, obviously, they're going to give Kareem Hunt just as many touches as Chubb.
I wouldn't say obviously as many touches.
But they're going to give him his opportunity.
Yes.
So I start Kareem Hunt, sit Odell.
Okay.
Just because Odell has broken my heart the last 2 seasons, I guess.
Okay.
I lost my train of thought. Hold on.
Yeah, I can do mine. So unfortunately, my stardom is Kareem Hunt. Dang it!
Woo! I love when me and Cameron agree.
Look, I mean, if you know me, you know I love Chubb more than I love Hunt.
Yeah, you definitely have a Chubb for Chubb.
Yeah, that's my team name.
Full Chubb.
My team name in our league is Full Chubb, bro.
I have a league where I have Chubb. My team name is Chubby, and I know it.
That's pretty good. I prefer my team name Full Chubb. That's what I have when I drafted Nick Chubb. So Kareem Hunt, I still look. It's crazy how they have a guy in Nick Chubb who was already a top 10 running back in fantasy.
Yeah.
Then they were able to have Kareem Hunt. They're able to use both of them and have both of them succeed and excel in fantasy points. It's crazy. Like, that's their offense, is those two guys.
Yeah.
Now, you had said just a little bit ago you think they're going to get the same amount of touches. I don't agree with that. Nick Chubb is still going to have the snap count advantage over
Kareem Hunt's going to get end zone.
I would say by a 2 to 3 advantage. Like, for every 2 snaps Chubb plays, Hunt will play 1. I think that's usually about how it goes. So I like, for most weeks, I really do like both of those running backs. Nick Chubb, stardom. Kareem Hunt I have as a stardom for this week.
Yes.
For a sit-em,
Odell.
Mecole Hardman for me.
Ooh.
Yeah, Mecole Hardman. The Browns, they have a
sneaky
good. I was just about to say that was like verbatim. I was gonna say a sneaky good defense. This is weird.
That's because we're best friends.
Man, the Browns have a sneaky good defense this year. Tyreek Hill's still going to get his. Travis Kelce's going to still get his. So, there's some guys who have to be left out, and I think Mecole Hardman is going to be left out this week.
Yeah.
So my sit-em this week for this game is going to be Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Oh, I agree with that every 17 weeks. So.
He'll have as good a weeks, but
best quarterback in the league is not going to dump off.
And my start this week is going to be. I'm trying to decide. I'm gonna go Nick Chubb because I think he's gonna have a huge game week 1.
Okay.
Opposite of y'all, I think he's gonna have
Well,
a big game.
obviously we agree with Nick Chubb's gonna have a big week. But I just feel like a lot of people have Kareem Hunt. They're like, should I start him? Should I put him?
Yeah.
I think he's gonna get just as many opportunities as Chubb.
Yeah.
So.
I don't agree with that.
You don't think he's gonna get at least 10 touches less than Chubb? So like, say Chubb gets,
Rephrase that.
let's say Chubb gets 20, Kareem's gonna get at least 10 touches,
Yes.
and he's gonna get an opportunity.
Yes.
Yes,
I
but
agree.
he's not unless he goes for like a long touchdown.
He does,
Yeah,
though.
which
He
he does
does.
that. He does do that a lot.
He's
and they
fresh.
do use him in the screen game a
Yes.
lot too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like that.
So all right, we agree with that. Next is Broncos versus Giants. I have start Gordon, Melvin Gordon, and sit Kenny Galladay.
Oh, I can't believe you just said that.
So the reason I say start Gordon is because we have a rookie running back. Just like we said, don't start Javonte. I think Gordon's gonna get the multiple touches week 1 just because he is the guy who's been in town. I don't think he's a better running back than Javonte, but I do think he's gonna get the majority of touches. And then I say sit Galladay because Daniel Jones blows. So go.
So, yeah, I can kind of go too for. I agree with you on sitting Galladay because the Broncos do have a really good secondary and a good pass rush.
Yes.
I just did one. But my actual sit-em is going to be Broncos running backs, so Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams.
I just know people are going to be choosing between Javonte and Melvin.
And I think you can't choose between the two of them.
But if you
Excuse
have
me,
both,
for
you
this
have
week.
to.
So like what you're saying between Chubb and
Yeah.
Kareem, they are truly going to split
Yes.
But
touches.
is it going to be good split touches?
if you
No, because neither of them are going to be able to
Exactly,
get
yeah, and I agree.
But some people, that's all they have.
it might be a 50-50 split, like legitimately
Yes.
a 50-50
Yeah.
split.
If you have to start one of them, I would lean
Melvin.
in this game towards Melvin.
Yeah.
If you have,
Are you saying if you have both of them
If
on
you
your
have both
roster?
of them on your roster, who do you start?
I don't know how many people it might actually
Most
be a
people
good
do
amount because
there's like Swift and Javonte Williams.
which
Jamal
ironically
Williams.
nobody drafted
Javonte
him but you.
No,
Javonte?
if you have Swift,
Oh, no,
you
Melvin
have to
Gordon.
draft his
No,
back.
he's talking about Jamal Williams.
Oh,
No, a
Jamal.
lot of
No, he
people-
meant Javonte.
Yeah, I meant Jamal. A lot of people draft
Javonte.
He's talking about
I think,
Oh, you
I
actually
think
mean
just like
Jamal.
Swift. If you
He's
drafted,
Okay, sorry.
if you drafted Swift, you had to draft Jamal.
As a handcuff, yeah,
Yes.
like
So same with Melvin.
so. Yes,
and
and
Javonte.
ironically, in maybe every draft, Javonte was going higher than Melvin Gordon.
Yes, but they still drafted Melvin.
Sure, if you're in that scenario, I would start
Melvin.
Melvin
Week
over
Only
Javonte
week 1.
Williams. Yeah, even that I'm not
It's hard.
sold on,
but
which
he's-
is why I'm saying I hope you have other options on your team.
Yeah.
Who was that? That was my sit-em, right?
Yes.
So for my stardom, we'll flip this. I'll go with Cortland Sutton.
Ooh, I like that.
I like Cortland Sutton a lot. He's coming off I think he tore his ACL. Yeah, he
ACL.
tore his ACL last year. But prior to that, I mean, I love Cortland Sutton.
I'm starting
He's a
in
great
every
wide
league I have
receiver.
him in.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So my sit-em, agree with Cameron, is Denver running backs.
Yeah.
But my stardom is going to be Jerry Judy. I do like
Okay.
him a
Oh,
lot.
with Bridgewater, yeah, I do too.
Big booty.
But
Jimmy.
we all agree on Denver running backs. Obviously, I went with the conversation Gordon versus Williams. Cameron then went with just different running backs. Obviously, if you have a better choice, start him over any Denver
Yeah.
running back. So
If
we all agree on that.
if somehow I'm just trying to think of a scenario.
If you have
Maybe
say-
if it's like a flex play that
Yeah,
you're looking, if
that's
you
you have
need
to.
one of them for a flex play.
that's my flex play.
Yeah.
But if say you have a good scenario would be say you have McKissick, and a lot of people have McKissick over Williams or Gordon. Would you start McKissick,
Over who? Sorry.
Williams or Gordon?
No, I would not start McKissick.
Okay.
No.
But that's a good scenario
No.
because that's a solid RB2 versus a wishy-washy RB1.
J.D. McKissick?
Yeah, he gets a lot of touches as an RB2.
I'm not starting J.D. McKissick.
So would you start Melvin Gordon over J.D. McKissick?
Yes, 100%.
That's an obvious.
100%.
That's an obvious scenario. Then.
Yeah, 100% I am.
Okay.
If you have all three of those,
Well, that's the
players,
type of
I'm
running-
sorry.
Yeah,
But
you
that's-
probably didn't draft.
but
If
that's-
you have all three of those guys, you didn't
But that's the
draft
type
very
of
well.
running back people have on their bench, is what I'm saying. McKissick, Miles Sanders, Would you start Miles Sanders over
Yes.
Melvin Gordon?
Yes.
Yes.
So that's the type of guys people have on their bench so they can start over Melvin Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
But all right, so we all agree with that. Last week, or the last game of the week, our last subject of the night on our podcast is going to be Ravens versus Raiders, a Monday night shootout. I have Darren Waller in all my leagues, so that's going to win me a.
Are you ready for some
Yeah,
football?
All
some
right.
Carrie Underwood. I have start
Carrie Underwood
She does
on
Sunday night.
Sunday night. Who's Monday night? Tim McGraw.
No, it's oh gosh, we're gonna get in trouble for this. It's a couple famous rockers.
So, I don't know.
It's country
Anyways, Ravens versus Raiders. I have start Gus Edwards, obvious, and sit Henry Ruggs.
Okay.
So mine is going to be sit Josh Jacobs. I don't know why they decided to bring in the backup.
Kenyon Drake.
Yeah, I don't know why they brought him in because Josh Jacobs was fantastic last year, and they ruined it. And my sit him this week is going to be.
No, you're starting.
No, that
You said sit
sit
Jacobs.
him. Yeah, my stardom this week is going to be
Gus Edwards.
Darren Waller.
Oh, yeah.
Love
I agree with that.
Love
I had
that
Darren
pick.
Waller like in 6 out of 10 leagues.
Yeah, so my sit-em is going to just be both running backs, Josh Jacobs and Kenyon Drake.
Okay.
I'm like, even if Josh Jacobs is the best running back on your team, do not start Josh Jacobs this week. Because, I mean, you got Vegas doesn't know what they're doing with their running back situation. Plus, they're going up against Baltimore. I'm not gonna be the person who goes out on a limb and starts one of them in this week. So
unfortunately I have to start Jacobs, but I agree. Malcolm Brown is my only backup. So.
Okay. And then so for my stardom, you said Gus Edwards, so I'm not gonna say Gus Edwards. I'll go with Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews can have a really
He's gonna be
week.
tight end 4 this year.
I just
maybe 5.
I hate the Baltimore receivers, man.
Oh, they're so wishy-washy.
For now. Although I do like, well, as long as once Rashad Bateman comes back, I'm gonna like him a lot.
That's like 6
They do have him. They also have Tylan Wallace, rookie out of OSU. So they've got younger guys. I mean, Marquise Brown, Sammy Watkins, no thank you.
I agree. So that's our stardom versus sit-ems for the week.
Mm-hmm.
I do agree with most of them. I think we're kind of all on the same page.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you have a draft coming up this week, don't be afraid to reach out. For $50, we'll draft your whole team for you. Take all that pressure off you.
Mm-hmm.
Win your league. If it's a big money league, that's a huge investment.
Yeah.
So we're here for you for sure.
We've been doing our research.
Yeah, we've been doing our research for a long time.
I started mock drafts in February.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
So we've been doing our research. we highly gladly do that for you. But other than that, stay tuned. We're going to record a couple more shows this week. Follow us on YouTube, follow us on Spotify, subscribe, whatever it takes.
YouTube is where the couple other shows this week
YouTube
are going
we're
to be.
Much more shows.
YouTube's where we're gonna put our during the week shows.
Yes. So Cave Chatter at YouTube. Follow us, subscribe. We're ready for
Comment.
it. Yeah, comment. We're here for you. Football starts Thursday. Don't lose your lead because you're afraid to reach out. So.
How about them Cowboys?
How about them, baby?
Yeah, whatever. Anyways, I'm Justin.
I'm Cameron.
And I'm Brooks.
Later.
Later.